All right. Welcome to Semper Sometimes with Benny. So this is something that is the fact that this is even happening right now is how is ecstatic. I can't even find the words to come out. Because I've been able to, you know, listen to the music that these gentlemen are making, and being a fan of it and a new fan at that, and then being able to talk to them through Instagram and now being able to have them on my podcast is phenomenal. So I want to thank you guys just for that. So for those of you who don't know, today we have with us Space Force, who is Topher, the Marine rapper, and D.cure. So the purpose of them being here is really just I wanted to talk to you guys about why you do what you do. Talk to you guys about the lyrics, talk about just kind of get into your head because I actually D.cure this morning, like, hey, what are some of your favorites? And he hit me up with like 3 or 4 different songs. And my problem is I can't find the favorite. Because every song I listen to is another bar that I'm either I feel like you guys are either like talking to me. So my question for you guys really is where did Space Force come from? How did you guys come together as friends, as a group? Like how did that all begin?
I guess I started off. Yeah, man. So I believe out of everybody, the first contact was between me and D.cure, and I reached out to him. We was part of was it Cypher Circuit, which was a almost just a music blog for independent artists where people got together, did weekly challenges, just to work on skills and have some camaraderie when it comes to this music thing. And I remember seeing D.cure's videos posted, and I was like, "Yo, this dude is dope!" Like, sheesh. So I reached out to him, and I was like, "Hey, bro, I'm just kind of because this is around the time where I just got out the military in 2017, and I was starting to take my music seriously, right? So I want to make this a career, and I'm brand new, like maybe 100 or 1,000 followers on Instagram, nothing at all. And I was like, I'm gonna try to reach out to this guy." Who's been featured on the homepage, so I know he had some clout. And he was like, "Yeah, man, no problem." So I sent him the track. He sent me the verse back, and we released it. That was called Pay Homage. And then I believe the next time was when I submitted a video for my song Focus to Tim Mars, military musician contest he had going on at the time. And he fell in love with the video. And I ended up going out to California, and because he was out there at the time. And when I was out there, once again, this is the Marine rapper with, I think he had 60,000-70,000 followers at the time. So someone I never would imagine, kind of like you said earlier, Benny, is to be, to just meet and automatically start talking to him and establishing a relationship when they're established as an artist. And I went out there, and he was like, he was more excited to meet me than I was him. Seriously, It was crazy. So we met up, linked up, and then after that, we just started doing some one-offs with one another, and eventually we got on the same track together called Don't Go Yet, and that was featured on D.cure's album. Which one was that, D.cure?
Need a Light, I think.
Yeah. So it was on that project, and we was like, yo, we sound pretty good together, right? And then so we did, I think the next one was for your next project, right, D.cure?
Yeah. Probably Alienated, yeah.
So you see a common commonality here and a common factor in a minute is because D.cure is always putting out a bunch of music. So he's always calling on us. So we did Alienated. I think after Alienated, that's when we was like, yo, okay, this ain't a coincidence. There's something here between us three. Like I said, we was already veterans. We had that connection. We were just dope, and we just like, yo, man, why not just create a group? And then we was like, as veterans, and this was actually before Trump started talking about Space Force as an official military branch.
Okay.
So it just so happened to coincide at the same time.
I was going to ask you all about that. Like, how did that happen? Like,
yeah.
Okay.
Yes. So
That's
it was
awesome.
Yeah, because the established date when we officially announced it, but we was already working as a group, was November 11th, right? Veterans Day 2018, I believe. But yeah, man, we was already talking about it. And we was like, yeah,
Wow.
it's Space Force, just because we was thinking about the future. We want to go to some unknown territory,
Yeah,
do some
yeah.
things people never heard before.
Different galaxies and
Yeah, it was kind of the idea there, and we
yeah,
just
yeah.
have expounded upon that, man. And we are where we are today, and it has been nothing but fun. And I always say this: I would not be in the position I am today if it wasn't for the knowledge and the friendship I have with these guys at all.
Yeah.
Seriously,
And
like,
that's the best part about it, man. And that's why like last night I sent it to TMR, but last night I was hitting up the staff sergeant that I'm boys with, and he was like, bro, I'm not buying this song. He was like, I've already heard all the renditions. I'm like, bro, you didn't hear this one. And then he was like, all right, sell me it. So I literally was like, bro, you haven't heard this. You think you heard it, you haven't heard it. Then he goes and listens to it, and he's like, yo, my bad, you're right. I'm wrong. I need to buy this, and I flipped him on it. But and he asked me why I was going at it as hard as I am, and it's because, and I think your viewers, your listeners, everybody can tell the camaraderie that you three have, and that it seems like I don't believe that y'all have only known each other for 4 years. Like I feel like y'all came up together, like you guys grew up together in like the same town or something, because like the way that you guys just marinate together, I guess would be the best word. Just like a good rub or something, like y'all, just the way that you guys come together, and it's just amazing. Like I was just listening to, so just so you guys know, like for the past like week, I've just been diving into all of your music, Space Force, into Enemy. I've probably listened to Enemy like 7 times right now. I don't know. Like I'm really like that album really resonates with me. Like I'm just like, and then the other song I really listen to a lot, I'll probably repeat, is Nowhere. So one of my questions was, why did you guys decide to spell nowhere that way? Is there something that I'm missing? Because I'm reading the lyrics and I'm trying to understand why. And is it like over my head? Is it up in the galaxy somewhere?
Yeah.
Or
Well, we
Go
always,
ahead, Timor.
well, we always have our own like little things or whatever. So Topher really is, he knows how to like leverage like the commercial side, and D.cure has a lot of the technical ability and stuff. And I always add like a lot of marketing, because in the Marine Corps I was also marketing and stuff. So it just was a great fit for all of us, because we are like intellects, but also we like to pay homage to hip hop, but also we also like to add like different layers, and that's what Space Force is. It's like a whole bunch of different layers. So we always like to add little treats and Easter eggs within the music. When you watch a movie and you're like, oh wow, I didn't notice Yoda was doing that back there or whatever. We want you to listen to the music and be like, oh snap, I didn't know Topher was saying that back there while D.cure was doing this, and Timmer smelled the rotten egg. Christmas is coming up, so that remix on we just always like to add like little treats and little snacks, so like you can go back to it and listen to it and be like, wait a minute, if I go back into this and I'm feeling like this, I'm going to get this out of it. If I go back to it and I'm feeling like this, I'm gonna get this out of it. So you could, if some people are feeling like angry and they want to hit the gym, so like a lot of our songs that are more high paced and stuff like that, you'll get a good workout. So sometimes you might just want to dance, and you might dance to the same song, somebody in another demographic. So we like to make it to where you can get multiple things out of there, and then the shelf life of the song is forever. We don't make content to be a one-off or a fast food type of thing. We're like a restaurant when we make food. We want you to be like, wow, that's soul food. I remember that. I remember what they were wearing. I remember what it looked like inside. Like, you know what I mean? It's like if you went to go have dinner and somebody made you soul food, you remember that whole experience. So that's the same thing that we want to do when it gets down to our art of making music. So even down to the name, down to the aesthetic, like, you look at our newest song, Let's Go Brandon. And even if you look at the cover, there's Easter egg upon Easter egg upon Easter egg. Like if you understand all of us and all of our personalities and our backgrounds, like there wasn't no coincidence that Mississippi State's on his chest. Like it was, you know what I mean? Like we did stuff like that. Like,
bro, and that's And that's
You know
the
what I mean?
thing, like when it came with that song, like I literally that day that the song came out, I listened to it over and over again. And every single time I listened to it, I was like, wait a minute, hold on, I didn't hear that the last time. And then my wife came home, and then like my wife is like, so this is the thing about my wife, and she gets mad at me, right? So you ever like, and I've noticed this as I grew up, that there's a lot of times where you're hearing, but you're not listening. So like there's so many songs that I've heard my whole life, but I never listened to them. So when we're driving or I'm like, hey babe, listen to the song, I'll stop the song. I'll be like, did you hear what he just said? And she'll be like, yeah. And then I'll be like, so what did he say? And then I'll have to literally stop and slow it down. So I did that with my wife. And as I was doing that, I was literally listening to more and more. I was like, wow, bro, like this is like everything about it, like the Hunter Biden one, Will Ferrell, Talladega. Like I was just like, wait a minute, like no, he didn't. And then there was a couple of them where I was like, wait, what did he mean by that? And then I had to like research some stuff, and that's why I love it, because that's the beauty of rap. But what I love that you guys are doing is exactly what you're talking about, is the Easter eggs and the deeper meaning behind things and stuff like that, because you guys are doing all of that with this music, and you're not cursing. And that's the ability to truly be good at the craft, because you don't have to sell the negativity. Y'all are talking about politics. So what you guys are doing, to me, is more important than anything that's ever been done before, because it's never been done the way that you guys are doing it.
Wow, that's big. Thank you for that.
Like
Thank
that's
you for
that's
Tell 'em.
you know what I mean? Like that's and that's why when people are like, oh, like I told you, like one of my buddies, Mass Diaz, was like, bro, I'm not buying that. So I literally, just to piss him off, I sent them $1.29 on iPay, on Apple Pay. And I was like, so now you're gonna tell, and I was like, you know what, keep the change too. And he was just like, he got all tight about it. But I was like, bro, like, because everyone's like, oh, I don't, I don't buy music. And I'm like, but here's the point though. It's not about you buying the music. It's about everything they're saying in their songs, you've said in your own head, or it's come out of your own mouth, but you've never said it to the public. So now there's three people who are saying everything you want to say. They're saying it loudly. So why not go buy a song for $1.29? Like, bro, come on. Or why not go, subscribe to the channel or whatever it is. And that's why to me, it's so annoying that everybody talks about accountability. Everybody talks about supporting veterans. And it's like, okay, so where are you at right now? Like, you say it, but what are you doing with it? Put your money where your mouth is. So I guess one of my other questions too is like, for Topher, like, bro, that whole album, I was just listening to that again, like Facts Are Racist. One of my favorite songs, I think, by far, is Wonders. I've put that song on repeat. Like that song, man, like I really mess with that one. And so my question for you is, when you were coming up with that album, like what was your aim? And what was going through your mind, and also how long did that album take for you to create?
So I'm probably the slowest writer out of all three of us.
Okay.
And it's fine. Like I accept that. I accept that role, and we know this. It's my weakness, and so it's hard for me to put out an album. I can't just put out an album. I could put one out. It just, for it to reach my standard, it would take longer. Gotcha. If I just want to put trash out, I could do that anytime. Yeah. But my standard is to a certain point. So I wanted to put something out. One, after the Patriot took off, a lot of people kept asking, hey man, I want to buy a project, I'm like, I don't have any projects. I haven't released anything. I mean, before that, I think the only thing I ever released was a mixtape. Mm-hmm. And that was, I think, Everybody Hates Chris. And that was old, and that was 2017, and it sounded nothing like 2021 Topher. So it's not even no point going back and listen to it. And I was like, man, I got to get something out. And I set the release date initially for my birthday, for February, for Black History Month. And we was going to take over February. But, of course, deadlines and stuff. I didn't get it done until March 3rd. It would have went Billboard, but I think it was Ditto, because I switched my distributors to Ditto after DistroKid removed the Patriot. So I switched to Ditto, but Ditto doesn't do if you're gonna release something on a scheduled date, they don't have it to where you could choose what day. the minimum to have is 10 days out. Didn't know that when it came time to release it. So when it came up, I had to release it like that right then and there, or I couldn't do it. But I sold over 600 copies first week, so that's still awesome for a person that couldn't sell one, a couple months back. So when I was writing it, I just wanted to put out there no apologies. And the reason why I came up with that cover art for, which I did the artwork for, I just wanted a picture of a black kid with the American flag in the background, because they always try to say that America hates black people. It's not our country. We don't belong here. Yada yada yada. And I was like, nah, man. Let's talk about, yes, have we had some bad times? Absolutely. No one's denying that. But there are so many more good things that come out of this country and that we can do today that we never been able to do and we can't do anywhere else. So we got to give those flowers where flowers due, right?
Yeah.
So that's why I wanted to put that up there so people can just try to see some different imagery. Yeah. And so I put the kid up there with the beanie. I Photoshop everything. It's pretty cool. I think it was a picture from when I was 2, something like that.
Okay, I was an ass. So that is you.
Yeah. That's me. That's baby Toph.
All right,
wearing beanies and hoodies all my life. But I ended up writing everything on it because one of my favorite songs is, like I said, is Wonders, but Through the Rain, just touching on topics.
Bro, I was just listening to that one, and I was just reading through lyrics on Genius, and bro, I'll tell you one thing, what annoys me, I'm so glad that there's lyrics online because every time it comes to D.cure, I'm like, hold on a second, what did he just say? So I'm literally just like, hold on, I gotta slow it down and I gotta listen to it again. But that through the Rain, man, that song, I was listening to that and just talking about, you helping the person, and so what was going through your mind when you made that song? Like, was that like was it a memory? Was it something that you've gone through, or was it just something that you just came up with? Like, how did that happen?
Just how troops or military members are portrayed in the media. Like, we don't get as much attention at all, but we pay the ultimate cost. Like, what we do literally allows people to do what they do. Like, if we don't do what we do, you don't get to do what you do. It's just facts. Yeah. And but we don't get treated as if we're essential. We don't get treated as if we're that important cog in the machine at all. And I was just trying to release a song that people can relate to, because I personally didn't go to war. So I didn't have to bring people back in caskets or anything like that. So it was just a song to talk about, from my perspective, just how we don't talk about those people that don't come back home. And then also to kind of talk about how people feel, because, survivor's remorse is a real thing. And it's not just a military thing. It can be if somebody was in a car crash and that person survived, and that person didn't. It's just survivor's remorse. And I just want to give it from a military perspective that a lot of people don't think about. And it just turned out great, man. So, but yeah, other than that, dropped that album. Everyone so far has just raved about it. I mean, I think I got like 5 stars on iTunes so far. And I'm just glad I put it out there, man. I'm glad it's a good project.
It's a blessing, bro, because I was just listening to it. I've listened to it before at the gym, but like today I was just when I'm gonna listen to it before I get on here, and I was just listening to it on repeat. And then the other thing too, and I want to thank you guys for, is talking about the 13 that had passed away, the KIAs, because that's something that you brought it up in your mention in that song Through the Rain. You were talking about how we're just quick mentions, through the media and stuff like that, and that's the reality of it, is that you guys are talking about it more than other people are, and that resonates with people. And last night I actually did an episode with a friend of mine. I haven't released it yet, but I'm trying to get a hold of family members and or Marines of each one of the fallen from that day, so that I can do memorial episodes for each one of them. So where, like, for instance, Sergeant Rosario was one of the Marines that passed away. I have her friend Melina come on and talk about how they were Marines together, talk about how they, different memories that they had. But I'm waiting for their families to okay it, because I don't want to drop it and then families not be okay with me doing that. So I'm making sure with the families that it's okay that I do that. But because, like you said, no one talks about it. No one talks about these people. They get one day and then that's kind of it. And then they're forgotten about. But and then my next question for D.cure, like, Enemy, where did that come from? Like what was going, because I know you had said when we were going back and forth that for you it was just kind of like, just life altogether, like things that you've been through. So can you kind of run us through that? Like the one song that hits me really hard was Sorry Mom. That one got me. Like I listened to that and
That's
then
my joint.
preview like the everything about the album, like I just like, oh my god.
Thank you. Yeah. So my main idea behind Enemy was to talk about the things that people don't want to talk about. Like when I was growing up, I always heard the phrase like, you need to be saved, like as a young Christian kid, and like not knowing why. What do I need to be saved from? And then, I got out and I experienced life and found some things I didn't need to find. And there were dark things. And so I wanted to talk about it because, a lot of the times we just hide those things. We don't want to talk about, addiction and sickness and all the shameful things that are stereotypically shameful, but aren't really, just people going through life,
Yeah.
So I wanted to dive in and talk about those struggles, like my divorces and my alcoholism, and really open up and be vulnerable and tell people, that show people really that they're not alone, and that I went through those same things, and that there's a way out the other side. And so Enemy was me talking about those dark things that people didn't want to open up about. So hopefully that can motivate others to speak on those things.
Yeah, man, and that's really like just listening to the album. Like I've done episodes with people about alcoholism, about suicide, about those darker times, and listening to that album, I was thinking back to the interviews that I've done, and I'm like, everything you were talking about were things that people were talking about in my interviews, and it was just listening to the album, man, and and I can't thank you enough for being willing enough to use your story, because, and that's the thing about it too, is like you're talking about being saved, is there's people who come off really, really preachy, and then they're like, hey, you got to go do this, but then you're just talking about your music, you're talking about what God's done through you, and now people are like, oh, wait a minute, can God do that to me too? Can God do that through me? So that's really the way that it's supposed to go. It's not supposed to be the other way around. So I just thank you for that, man, because listening to and knowing that we all share the same common enemy. And that's the part of it that nobody realizes. Like when people think they're alone, it's like, no, man, like other people have been through what you're going through. Maybe not the exact same extent, but other people have made it out alive, And then as far as TMR, man, like that song PTSD, we've spoken about it with Punchline, like that song resonated a lot with me because you've never heard a song like that, at least to my knowledge, in rap. Like, and that's again going back to you guys, like what you guys are doing is something that nobody else is doing. Like the conversations that you guys are having, about, children, about literally everything, politics, everything you're talking about is the stuff that nobody wants to talk about. So for the PTSD song, Timur, how did that come about? Was he just did he invite you on the song? Like, how did that happen with Punchline?
Well, a lot of times, like with music, I just go off of energies and vibes and how I'm feeling, because I realize for me, like it's kind of like the sun to me. Like when I'm off of a good vibe, I'll absorb it like a solar panel, and then the song will end up being good, and it'll just be a vibe. I'll just tell you how I got into it by talking about another song. It's called Troop Lives Matter. So when I did this song called Troop Lives Matter, which focuses on the 13, like all my raps from all my raps from August to like now, I probably said the 13 in all of them, because I feel like you can't say it enough.
Yeah.
And if anybody was to say anything about it, like, oh, wow, you or whatever like that, like I tell them, I'd be like, yo, you can't talk about it too much. You can always talk about it. You can keep on talking about it over and over again.
Yeah.
Can you guys hear me?
Yeah, we got you.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm trying to figure out what's going on here. because I can't hear it. Can you hear me now?
Yeah, we hear you.
Good.
I'm trying to figure. Check. How about now?
Still got you.
Okay, cool. But basically going back, so like when I did a song called Troop Lives Matter, it was focused on the 13 troops. And in order to do that correctly, the way I felt that they deserved, like I immersed myself within their lives. And then also I wanted to parallel Vietnam to Afghanistan because they're making the comparisons. And I was like, how can I do it? And I was like, okay, well, let me do it Full Metal Jacket style, which is another Easter egg because I actually did the job of the main character in Full Metal Jacket when I was over in Iraq. So there's like a whole bunch of, there's Iraq, Afghanistan, Vietnam all connected together. But in order to bring everything together, I wanted to be like, what is the best musical influence at that time? And it was, for me, it was Gil Scott-Heron, he calls himself a bluesologist, but he was like an early rapper, early singer, early poet. And he would always talk about political issues. And at that time it was Reagan, but he said, he called him Ray Gun, like he's a laser taking everybody out. Called him Ray Gun. He how he would pronounce it would be Ray Gun. And I was like, oh, I love those little nuances and stuff. And I picked up on him. I kind of like, you know, they have method actors. I became like a method rapper, and I was just like just immersing myself within that. And he's just like this lanky black dude, and I was like, wow, he looks like me. So I even grew out my hair. I did not shave anything. Like I just got into it, like, and I was trying to go off the vibe and stuff. And then I was just studying jazz and studying blues and studying like scatting and stuff. And then I kind of like just freestyled like most of the song and got into it, but I made sure I put their names in there too. And because I realized I made the best stuff off of vibes. So once I realized that by making Troop Lives Matter, I was like, okay, you know, I'm just looking for vibes. And if somebody comes to me and that vibe is good, I'm gonna just work. I don't care who you are. And Punchline is newer to our community, but he's an Army veteran. So he got on my live one time and he was like, can I rap for you? I was like, what? He's like, yeah, can I rap for you? I was like, you ready to freestyle right now? He said, yeah. And he just went. And I was like, he rapped for like a minute and 30 seconds. And I was like, bet, bro. Next time you have a collab, let me know. Open verse. I got you. Don't worry about money, nothing. Just hit me up. And I think that was like a month before we made PTSD. But the reason why I said yes so quick, and I usually don't like to work with anybody other than Space Force because they don't have there's just so many things that we have. I can't even list them off. We have so much good chemistry. So many different areas that I'm uncomfortable working with a new person because there's a learning curve and I have to explain everything and I don't think they'll work hard enough and stuff. But when I said send me a track, he sent me a track quick. He actually went to school for engineering and stuff, so he mixed it himself and everything, which was cool, and it made his album. But he's like, I want to do a song about PTSD, and there has been other songs about PTSD, but I feel like it hasn't done in our way because there's been songs about military before we ever, you know, started making music, you know, way before we were born and stuff by country singers. But the difference is it's coming out the horse's mouth. That's the difference. Now you have a song like PTSD coming out the horse's mouth. He's saying all the struggles he's going through growing up in the Midwest, and he does that quick chopper style. And then me, I'm talking about my struggles that I'm going through. Like I traveled back to when I was in the tent. That's why I said that's why one of the lines it says inside, outside, intense.
Oh, bro!
Inside a tent, outside, and it was intense. So, like,
when I heard that, I was like, did he say intense or intense? I was like, yeah.
It's always going to be like Topher goes, hey, bro, can you just like can you just do like two meanings this time? Like, I can't help it.
It's a 2-layer cake. We don't need 5 layers this time. You know?
He always says that. He's like, man, you always got, you know, all these meanings or whatever. So like I was just like, all right. I'm a practice the art of sounding simple, but it's like even more complex. So I've been practicing that art. So I was like, oh snap, we're outside, but we're inside, and that was intense, but we're intense. Like you know what I mean? So like I like stuff like that. So like you'll always hear like sarcasm and humor in my music because I feel like to deal with all this darkness that we have in our life, we have to add some humor. And I'm you know, I'm a mixture of like darkness and humor. So I wanted to do that and add that. But like, it came together organically. To answer your question, the song PTSD came together organically. It felt right. It felt like we should be doing it. It felt like we were right on topic, on brand, on target. I didn't feel like, like sometimes you might do something, oh man, I kind of feel like a poser doing this. You know what I mean? Like I never, you know what I mean? Like, when you're growing up in high school and you wear like a hat or a team, and you feel like you have to know everything about the Cardinals if you wear that jacket. You know what I'm saying?
How do you think I feel right now? Like when I'm posting these videos on Instagram and stuff, it's like, bro, I just relate to everything you guys are saying. I truly believe in everything you guys are saying. It's resonating with me. So it's like I just, I'm just doing it, and I don't care, and then in my head I'm like, yo, I hope they don't think that I'm just trying to like get on their Instagrams constantly. I hope they don't think that.
No, it's not. Okay. No, it's definitely not that. The thing is like I said, I go off a vibe. If your vibe wasn't good, it would be a different conversation, but there was no conversation to be had because your vibe is good. So we're like, oh, he's just legit. Like, I don't care who you are. You could have 1 fan or 1 million. If your vibe's not good, it's not good. I mean, I've turned down deals like working with people because just the vibe wasn't good. That's like awesome. Money and everything, because just the vibe was not good, and I just can't rock with them. So I don't feel like it has anything to do with you being newer. It just is all about you being real. Because we're all about realism. If you hear when you hear our music, when you hear D.cure stuff.
We lost your sound.
Okay.
Oh no.
Nowhere.
Oh man, I just can you hear me now?
There you go.
There we go.
It's where I wanna be.
Okay, can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Can you now? What the heck is going on?
You're good.
How about now?
We got you.
Oh, now it's gone.
How about now?
We got you.
There it is.
All right, cool. Anyways, the point I'm saying, just to summarize everything that I was saying, was sometimes you can go off a vibe or a gut instinct. Over time it's changed the terminology, but it's the same thing. Like sometimes you get a feeling in your gut like, that's not right, or that person is the real one, or whatever like that. And you can see it as you have more experience and stuff like that. And we just want to say, I want to say on behalf of Space Force, that we appreciate you for being a real one, and being a real one is just doing what you're supposed to do and being you. And we appreciate you. We don't expect anything from you. You don't even have to share it. And just the fact that you are a newer person in our lives, and you're going harder than a lot of people we've known for a while, that we've like begged to do one. You're not only sharing it, you were blasting our song in chat rooms and sending people money who may not be able to afford the song. Like that's, I don't know anybody who's gone that far. Like there's probably like one other person, 1 or 2 gone that far like that. And it's kind of like, to get that support and to get that love, it makes us feel validated. So like from the bottom of our hearts, we like really appreciate you, bro.
No, and I appreciate everything y'all are doing, because like I said, man, like the moment I heard, I think the first song I heard was The Patriot. And at the time I was kind of listening to Tom McDonald. But then I started listening to what you guys were saying, and then I heard Topher's song about that. And then I was like, oh my God. And I was like going off on the whole entire vibe. And, I just love what you guys are doing, because you guys are doing it and you're not just talking about it, you're being about it. And that's the problem. And that was like when me and you went live the other day, you were talking about how all these rappers talk about things they've never done, but you guys are talking about things you've lived through, talking about things that you've dealt with. So, and you can feel that in your music. And that's why, like, when people were like, oh, like I had a couple of people reach out to me that were like, oh, they're just doing Let's Go Brandon so they can get a number 1. And I'm like, bro, you clearly don't know who they are, because they're already doing that. They've already been there. So no, that's not why they're doing it. So, and also because people asked for it. And also, I've already said this, but yours is definitely lyrically the best, in my opinion. And that's all that matters, is our opinions, right? But
I mean, factually, genius, an authority for did right. No, like you can actually, if somebody says something, you can like revert back to the actual chart where they literally rank lyrics. Period.
Oh, really? I didn't know.
Yeah, like you can just, and if you're wondering why those other versions or nobody else is on there, it's because nobody's checking to see what they said, because they don't care. I'm just being 100.
No, yeah.
They don't care what they said. They don't care what they said. You want to hear, oh snap, D.cure said something quick, but then you go, oh snap, he said all that, and he did a reference to The Office, and the fact that, and then you dig into it, you're like, oh wow, he's doing a lot of nerdcore or whatever, this and that.
Yeah.
So like then you're like, oh wow, like this is a reoccurring theme and a reoccurring trend. So now you get enthralled with an artist like D.cure because it's like, wow, there's more layers to him.
Oh,
so now
yeah.
when you listen to track to track to track, you're like, wow, that connects to that, that connects to that. That's the reason why he said that.
Yeah. So what I've gathered from this whole entire thing is in the movie Shrek, he says ogres are like onions. So Space Force is like onions. That's what I've gathered.
Right.
That's
Space
what
onions.
You got layers and we might make you cry.
So I guess my next question would just be, what's next for you guys? You guys are dropping music at the cyclic rate. So is there anything that we should be looking out for? Is there anything that's coming at us next?
It's funny when people always say, what do you guys have next? I'm like, I don't know, man. I don't know what's past Friday. Like literally, like honestly, like literally I get withdrawals if I'm not recording like every day or working on something.
That's awesome.
Like for real, like yeah, we got some stuff. We're gonna do a track that's dedicated towards active duty.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. They're gonna love this one.
Yeah.
Because it's gonna say a lot of stuff that active duty can't talk about.
That's the best. I can't wait. That sounds great.
It's specifically, and when I say active duty, I mean, reservists, I mean, everybody, I'm saying people who are still serving,
yeah,
in the situation. And I don't even think that it's necessarily just, closed off to active duty military. I mean, anybody in this position.
Yeah. And that's the problem.
I don't want to get too
much.
I
got you. But no, I feel you, man. Because even like right now with me, man, like, and I like that you guys brought that up, dying on the hill and being on the hill. Because there's a lot of people like right now, if you're in the military and you don't want the vaccine and you're not okay with the mandate, well, then everyone's pointing the finger at you, like you're the problem. And that's literally, I haven't gotten it, and not to get into that, but that's the life that I'm living right now. Like I have master sergeants, master guns is looking at me like, hey man, like why are you gonna die on this hill? So that's definitely something that I can't wait to hear what you guys are going to talk about. And again, it's just everything you guys are talking about is everything everyone else is saying, but is afraid to say. So that's why I love everything you guys are doing. And then that's really all I have for you guys. I know you guys are all busy as all heck. But, just thank you guys from the bottom of my heart for allowing me to just even do this. The three of you, like I can't express to you just how amazing it is to talk to you guys. I can't wait to actually meet you one day and chop it up in like real time. I appreciate everything you guys are doing, and I hope that you guys, and I don't know if all three of you are religious, but I'm telling you right now from my bottom of my heart that God put all three of you guys together for a reason. I like listening to Topher talk about the story and the origination of all of it. Like I ask that what would I think would be sick is if y'all came out with like a 2-hour YouTube video of all of the Easter eggs. Like I think it would be sick because like if y'all really went through and maybe
2 day
video, it would last longer than 2 hours, man.
Oh,
but now you said one song.
No, oh man, yo, now I gotta go back and listen to more Easter eggs.
And that's not even an exaggeration. It's just not.
No, I know. I can tell. Like
it's the Easter egg of the whole thing. Times 3 of all of us, and then you have to dig into each bar.
Bro, like when he said I've been out of my mind longer than Kennedy, I was like, bro. I was like, no. But
yeah. That was a little graphic, but
yeah. But hey, you got the point across. But okay. All right. Well, hey guys, again, I appreciate everything you guys are doing. And I'm gonna continue to support you guys. I'm gonna continue to make people go buy it. Like I don't know how many group chats I've literally been a part of that I've created, just like, hey, go buy this song or this album. And just the other day I was in the car coming home from work. And I had Let's Go Brandon on, and this dude pulled up right next to me, and he had it on, and we were just in traffic together, just freaking going hard in Jersey. So I was just like, bro, I'm happy that it's getting out there. And then having to explain to people who don't know what it is, like it's like that's a fun too. But
Yeah.
like I'm just like, where are you living at, man? Like you don't know what this is. Like what? Where are you? So. But all right, guys, I appreciate everything you guys are doing. I know you guys got places to go. I got to get back to work, but thanks a lot for everything you guys are doing. I appreciate you guys. I appreciate the love. Thanks for coming on the podcast, and adios.
Peace out, bro. Thank you
Peace
again,
Peace
man.
out. Thanks again.
Thank you, man.
Yo, I can't wait to see you guys #1.
Let's go.
Let's
will be.
go.
Oh, we will be.